The silence that followed my wife's words cut deeper than any knife ever could. There I stood watching my 7-year-old daughter, Emma's hands shake as tears streamed down her cheeks, while my sister Amanda smirked with satisfaction at the devastation she had just caused. Sarah looked at our broken little girl once and said those 6 words that would haunt me forever. Maybe we should just go home. The birthday party guests stared in uncomfortable silence as Emma's sobs echoed through Amanda's marble foyer. My own wife had just sided against our daughter instead of defending her from my sister's cruel attack about her Target dress being inappropriate for this exclusive gathering. I carried Emma to our Honda Civic while she buried her face in my shoulder, her small body trembling with each sob. Sarah walked behind us in complete silence, her designer heels clicking against the concrete driveway. The contrast between our modest sedan and the luxury vehicles surrounding us suddenly felt overwhelming. "Daddy, why did Aunt Amanda say my dress was ugly?" Emma whispered as I buckled her into her car seat. Her blue eyes, still wet with tears, searched mine for answers I didn't know how to give. "Your dress is beautiful, sweetheart. You look like a princess," I told her, smoothing down her blonde curls that Sarah had spent an hour perfecting that morning. Sarah finally spoke as we drove away from Amanda's mansion. "Tyler, we need to talk." The 20-minute drive home passed in tense quiet, broken only by Emma's occasional sniffles from the back seat. When we pulled into our driveway, our 3-bedroom ranch house looked smaller than ever before. Sarah immediately took Emma inside for her bath, while I sat in the car, trying to process what had just happened. An hour later, after Emma was asleep, Sarah and I sat across from each other at our kitchen table. The conversation that followed shattered everything I thought I knew about my marriage. "I've been thinking about this for months." "Tyler," Sarah began, her voice steady but cold. "Look around us. Look at what we're giving Emma compared to what Amanda could provide." "What are you talking about? Emma is happy here. We're happy here." Sarah shook her head. "Are we, though? When was the last time we took a real vacation? When was the last time we bought Emma something nice without checking our bank account first?" The accusation stung because it held truth. My salary as an automotive technician at Henderson's Auto Repair covered our bills and basic needs, but luxury items required careful planning and saving. Money isn't everything, Sarah. We agreed on that when we got married. "That was before I understood what Emma was missing out on," Sarah replied, pulling out her phone. "Amanda showed me pictures from cousin Jessica's daughter's birthday party last month. Private pony rides, professional photographers, designer party favors. Emma deserves experiences like that." I stared at my wife, searching for the woman I had fallen in love with 8 years ago. "Since when do you care about designer party favors?" Sarah's confession came tumbling out like water through a broken dam. She'd been meeting with Amanda every Tuesday for coffee while Emma was at school. What started as innocent sister-in-law bonding had evolved into something much more destructive. "Amanda opened my eyes to things I hadn't considered," Sarah explained. "She showed me how we could provide better opportunities for Emma. Better schools, better clothes, better everything. By going into debt, by pretending to be something we're not." Sarah pulled out a stack of credit card statements I had never seen before. 3 different cards, each carrying a balance of over $1,000. Designer handbags, expensive shoes, salon treatments, all purchased in secret while our daughter continued wearing clothes from discount retailers. "I was trying to improve our image," Sarah said defensively. "I was trying to fit in with the other mothers at Emma's school." By lying to me, by hiding debt from me, by doing what's necessary for our family's future. The word necessary hung in the air like poison gas. Sarah had been living a double life, attending social events with Amanda's wealthy friends while telling me she was running errands or visiting her mother. She had been comparing our modest lifestyle to the extravagance she witnessed at country club luncheons and charity galas. "Emma asked me tonight why Mommy didn't stick up for her," I said quietly. What am I supposed to tell her? For the first time that evening, Sarah's composure cracked. Tell her that sometimes grown-ups have to make difficult decisions about what's best for everyone. What's that supposed to mean? Sarah pulled out another document from her purse. A business card for a family law attorney named Patricia Thornfield. Amanda gave me this. She said if we ever needed help understanding our options regarding Emma's future. The implication hit me like a physical blow. You're talking about divorce. I'm talking about making sure Emma has the best possible life. Amanda has offered to help with Emma's education, her extracurricular activities, everything we can't afford to give her ourselves. I looked around our kitchen with its mismatched chairs and outdated appliances. For the first time in years, I saw it through Sarah's eyes. The chipped countertops we had promised to replace someday. The refrigerator covered in Emma's crayon drawings because we couldn't afford professional photography sessions. The hand-me-down furniture from my parents. This house has been good enough for 8 years, I said. But is good enough really good enough for Emma? That question would replay in my mind for hours after Sarah went to bed early, claiming she had a headache. I sat alone in our modest living room, surrounded by the life we had built together, wondering when it had stopped being enough for the woman I loved. Sleep eluded me that night. At 3 in the morning, I found myself standing in our home office staring at Sarah's laptop. The betrayal I had already discovered felt incomplete, like I was only seeing the tip of an iceberg that threatened to sink our family. Sarah's phone charging on the nightstand buzzed with a text message from Amanda. Unable to resist, I checked it. How did Tyler react? Did you show him the papers? Remember what we discussed about timing. My hands shook as I scrolled through months of text exchanges between my wife and sister. The conspiracy that unfolded before my eyes was more elaborate and devastating than anything I could have imagined. The messages began 4 months ago, shortly after Amanda's divorce settlement was finalized. Her ex-husband had left her with significant assets, but apparently not enough to satisfy her appetite for control and manipulation. You deserve so much better than what Tyler can provide. Read one message from early September. Emma is such a bright, beautiful child. She could have amazing opportunities with the right guidance. Sarah's responses showed a gradual transformation from defensive wife to willing conspirator. Tyler works hard, but you're right about Emma needing more, she had replied after their third coffee meeting. Amanda's strategy became clear as I read further. She had been systematically undermining my reputation while painting herself as Emma's salvation. Photos from family gatherings showed Amanda posing with Emma, captioned with comments about potential and what this angel could become with proper resources. The most damning discovery came in a folder labeled Opportunities for Emma on Sarah's laptop. Amanda had been researching exclusive private schools, documenting their admission requirements and tuition costs. She had created a detailed plan for Emma's elevation, from our middle-class lifestyle to upper-class privilege. But the plan wasn't just about education. Amanda had been introducing Sarah to wealthy single men at her social events. Photos showed Sarah laughing at dinner parties I never knew she attended, sitting beside men whose LinkedIn profiles revealed they were investment bankers, corporate lawyers, and business owners. Marcus Whitfield was asking about you again, Amanda had texted 3 weeks ago. His portfolio is worth over $2 million, and he loves children. He specifically mentioned how delightful Emma is. Sarah's response chilled me to the bone. Maybe it's time I started considering all my options. The evidence mounted as I dug deeper. Amanda had been funding Sarah's secret shopping sprees as investments in her future. Designer clothes, expensive jewelry, professional styling sessions, all designed to transform Sarah into someone who could attract a wealthier husband. Financial documents revealed that Amanda had already paid for Emma's enrollment in St. Catherine's Preparatory Academy, an exclusive private school that cost more per year than I earned in 6 months. The paperwork listed Amanda as Emma's guardian and primary contact with Sarah's forged signature, authorizing the transfer of educational responsibility. Medical records showed that Amanda had taken Emma to specialists for comprehensive evaluations under the pretense of wellness checkups. Child psychologists, educational assessments, even genetic testing, all designed to create a portfolio showcasing Emma's intelligence and potential. The most devastating revelation came in a recorded phone call I found on Sarah's phone. Amanda's voice was clear and calculating as she explained her ultimate goal. Once you have primary custody, we can relocate Emma to the house. She'll have her own wing, professional tutors, everything a child could want. Tyler's parental rights won't matter when we can prove he can't provide adequate resources for her development. Sarah's voice responded, "What about Tyler? He loves Emma." "Love doesn't pay for Harvard tuition or riding lessons," Amanda replied coldly. "Sometimes we have to make sacrifices for the greater good. Emma will thank us when she's older." I discovered that Amanda had been documenting every aspect of our financial struggles. Photos of our modest home, screenshots of my social media posts about overtime work and budget constraints, even receipts from our grocery shopping trips to discount stores. She had built a comprehensive case portraying me as an inadequate provider. The manipulation extended to Emma herself. Amanda had been bringing Emma gifts during their supervised visits, each one more expensive than anything Sarah and I could afford. Designer toys, electronic devices, clothes from boutique children's stores. Emma's innocent comments about Aunt Amanda's presence suddenly took on sinister meaning. Text messages revealed that Amanda had been coaching Sarah on legal strategies for gaining custody. She had connected Sarah with Patricia Thornfield, an attorney known for representing wealthy women in contentious divorce proceedings. The consultation notes I found outlined a strategy for portraying me as financially irresponsible and potentially unstable. Most horrifying was the discovery that Amanda had been spreading lies about me to our extended family. Emails to cousins, aunts, and uncles painted me as a man struggling with anger issues and financial stress. Family members had been contacted with carefully crafted stories about my supposed drinking problem and erratic behavior around Emma. "Tyler's been under tremendous pressure lately." One email read, "Sarah is concerned about Emma's safety and emotional well-being. We're all just trying to support them through this difficult time." The lies had been so convincing that several relatives had already sided with Amanda and Sarah without ever speaking to me directly. My own family had been turned against me through calculated deception. As dawn broke through our bedroom window, I sat surrounded by evidence of the most elaborate betrayal I could have imagined. My wife and sister had spent months planning the destruction of my family, all while I worked overtime to provide for the people I loved most. The woman sleeping beside me was no longer the Sarah I had married. She had become a stranger willing to sacrifice our daughter's relationship with her father for the promise of a more luxurious lifestyle. But I wasn't going to let them succeed without a fight. Sarah arrived home the following evening carrying a manila envelope that would change everything between us forever. Emma was at her friend Chloe's house for a sleepover, leaving Sarah and me alone to face the confrontation I had been dreading all day. "We need to discuss Emma's future," Sarah announced, setting the envelope on our dining room table with the formality of a business transaction. Inside were legal documents that Amanda had helped prepare. Temporary custody transfer forms, school enrollment applications for St. Catherine's Preparatory Academy, and a detailed parenting plan that effectively removed me from my daughter's daily life. "This is what's best for everyone," Sarah explained, her voice devoid of the emotion I expected during such a devastating conversation. "Emma will live with Amanda during the week for school and structured activities. You'll have supervised weekend visits until the divorce is finalized." The clinical nature of her presentation felt like being diagnosed with a terminal illness. My wife was discussing the dismantling of our family with the same tone she used to plan grocery lists. "Supervised visits, Sarah, I'm her father. I've never done anything to hurt Emma." Amanda's attorney says it's standard procedure when there are concerns about a parent's stability during high-stress situations. What concerns what stability issues? Sarah pulled out a folder containing photographs and documents I had never seen before. Pictures of me looking tired after long work days, credit reports showing our modest savings account, even screenshots of my social media posts complaining about difficult customers at the auto shop. Patricia says these establish a pattern of financial stress and emotional volatility, Sarah explained. Combined with your recent angry outbursts, they paint a concerning picture. Angry outbursts. When have I had angry outbursts? Sarah's response revealed how thoroughly she had been coached by Amanda and the attorney. Last month when the washing machine broke and you raised your voice. 2 weeks ago when you complained about the grocery bill. Yesterday when you confronted Amanda about Emma's dress. Each incident had been reframed and documented as evidence of my unfitness as a parent. Normal frustrations that every adult experiences had been transformed into proof of dangerous instability. The manipulation went deeper than I had realized. Amanda had already enrolled Emma in St. Catherine's using fraudulent documents that listed Sarah as having sole custody. The school administration had been told that I was an estranged father with potential anger management issues who might try to disrupt Emma's education. Emma starts at her new school Monday, Sarah announced. Amanda's driver will pick her up each morning. She'll have professional tutoring, music lessons, writing instruction, everything we could never provide. What about what Emma wants? Has anyone asked her if she wants to leave her friends and her home? Sarah's composure finally cracked slightly. Children don't always know what's best for them. Sometimes adults have to make difficult choices. The conversation escalated when Sarah revealed that Amanda had already purchased Emma's uniforms, textbooks, and supplies for the exclusive academy. My daughter's entire educational future had been planned and executed without my knowledge or consent. Amanda has also arranged for Emma to see Dr. Richardson, a child psychologist who specializes in helping children adjust to family transitions, Sarah continued. He'll help Emma understand why these changes are necessary. The clinical language Sarah used to describe our daughter's emotional manipulation chilled me to the bone. Emma was being treated like a commodity to be transferred rather than a child who loved both her parents. I've spoken with Patricia about the financial arrangements, Sarah said, producing another set of documents. You'll pay $200 per month in child support, which is reasonable given your income level. Amanda will cover Emma's educational and medical expenses. $200 monthly for my own daughter. The amount felt like an insult designed to emphasize my financial inadequacy compared to Amanda's wealth. The most devastating revelation came when Sarah showed me Emma's new bedroom in Amanda's mansion. Professional photographs revealed a space larger than our entire living room, decorated with expensive furniture and filled with toys that cost more than my monthly salary. Emma saw her new room yesterday, Sarah admitted. She was excited about having her own bathroom and walk-in closet. The betrayal of that statement hit me like a physical blow. While I'd been working late shifts to save money for Emma's birthday present, my wife and sister had been showing our daughter the luxurious lifestyle she could have without me. What did you tell her about why she's moving? Sarah's answer revealed the depth of their manipulation. We explained that Daddy's work makes him very tired and stressed and that she'll be happier living somewhere with more space and opportunities. Dr. Richardson says children adapt quickly when the transition is handled properly. They had convinced my 7-year-old daughter that I was too exhausted and overwhelmed to care for her properly. Emma's innocent questions about why I worked so much overtime had been twisted into evidence that she felt neglected and burdened by our modest lifestyle. Emma asked about her friends at school, I said. She'll make new friends at St. Catherine's, better friends from good families. The elitism in Sarah's statement was breathtaking. Emma's current classmates, children from working families like ours, were suddenly not good enough for my daughter's elevated social status. As Sarah laid out the complete plan for Emma's new life, I realized that my sister and wife had anticipated every possible objection I might raise. financial concerns, educational opportunities, social advantages, emotional support. They had constructed a comprehensive argument that positioned my love and dedication as insufficient compared to Amanda's resources. You can still be part of Emma's life, Sarah said, offering what she clearly believed was a generous compromise. Supervised visits, every other weekend holiday arrangements to be negotiated through Patricia, participation in school events when appropriate. The formal language she used to describe my relationship with my own daughter felt like attending my own funeral. I was being relegated to the status of distant relative in Emma's life, allowed occasional contact under controlled circumstances. What happens if I refuse to sign these documents? Sarah's response revealed that they had prepared for my resistance. Patricia says we can proceed through the court system, but that would be more traumatic for Emma. This way, the transition happens smoothly without exposing her to a custody battle. The threat was clear. Sign the documents voluntarily or face a legal fight that would drain our savings and potentially result in even more restrictive custody arrangements. Amanda's wealth would ensure she could afford better attorneys and longer court battles than I ever could. As I stared at the papers that would legally formalize the destruction of my family, Sarah delivered her final ultimatum. I need your signature tonight, Tyler. Amanda is expecting Emma to start her new routine Monday morning. Desperation drives people to extraordinary measures. Instead of signing the documents that would strip away my parental rights, I called Marcus Rivera, a friend from high school who had worked his way up from patrol officer to detective, before leaving the police force to start a private investigation business. Marcus agreed to meet me at Danny's Diner, a 24-hour restaurant where we used to grab coffee during our teenage years when life was simpler and betrayal was just a word in vocabulary books. Tell me everything, Marcus said after I explained the basic situation. His investigative instincts had kicked in the moment I mentioned Amanda's sudden wealth and elaborate schemes. Over the next 3 hours, I laid out every detail of the conspiracy against me. Marcus took notes, asked probing questions, and promised to conduct a thorough investigation into Amanda's background and financial activities. Something about this doesn't add up, Marcus said. The level of manipulation and financial resources required for this kind of operation suggests your sister might be involved in more than family drama. Marcus's investigation began immediately. Within 48 hours, he had uncovered information that transformed my family crisis into something much more sinister and dangerous. Amanda's divorce settlement had indeed been substantial, but not nearly substantial enough to support her current lifestyle. The mansion, luxury vehicles, and expensive social events required an income stream that her legitimate assets couldn't sustain. Financial records obtained through Marcus's law enforcement contacts revealed that Amanda had been receiving regular deposits from multiple sources: insurance companies, legal settlement firms, and private individuals had been transferring significant amounts into her accounts over the past 18 months. Your sister is running an insurance fraud operation, Marcus explained during our second meeting. She's been staging accidents and filing false claims using recruited families with young children. The scheme was more elaborate than anything I could have imagined. Amanda had been targeting financially struggling families, offering them money to participate in minor traffic accidents where their children would claim injuries for insurance settlements. Marcus showed me surveillance photographs of Amanda, meeting with various families at restaurants and coffee shops throughout the city. Young parents with children between the ages of 5 and 12 had been recruited to participate in carefully orchestrated collisions that generated substantial insurance payouts. The children are coached to describe specific symptoms that are difficult for doctors to disprove, Marcus explained. Headaches, neck pain, anxiety, sleep disturbances. The insurance companies settle quickly to avoid prolonged medical evaluations and potential lawsuits. Amanda's role in the operation was sophisticated and calculated. She provided the initial contact with target families, arranged the staged accidents with professional drivers who specialized in insurance fraud, and connected the families with corrupt medical professionals who would provide supporting documentation for the false claims. Each successful claim generates between $15,000 and $50,000, Marcus said. Amanda keeps 70% of each settlement. The families get just enough money to solve their immediate financial problems and keep quiet about the arrangements. The investigation revealed that Amanda had specifically targeted my family because Emma possessed the perfect combination of characteristics for generating maximum insurance settlements. Blonde hair, blue eyes, articulate speech, and photogenic appearance made her ideal for creating sympathy with insurance adjusters and potential jury members. Emma wasn't just being recruited for a better lifestyle, Marcus said grimly. She was being positioned as the centerpiece of a major insurance fraud operation. Documents Marcus obtained from Amanda's home office revealed the true scope of her plans for Emma. 6 separate accidents had been scheduled over the next 12 months, each designed to generate progressively larger settlements as Emma's medical history of accident-related injuries accumulated. The staged accidents ranged from minor rear-end collisions to pedestrian incidents in parking lots. Professional stunt drivers and actors had been hired to create believable scenarios where Emma would sustain apparent injuries that would justify substantial insurance claims. Medical records showed that Amanda had been secretly taking Emma to doctors for comprehensive baseline examinations. The appointments disguised as routine wellness checkups were actually designed to document Emma's perfect health before the planned fake injuries began. These medical records are crucial for the fraud operation, Marcus explained. They established that Emma was completely healthy before the accidents, making any subsequent claims of injury more believable and valuable. Most horrifying was the discovery that Amanda planned to escalate the severity of Emma's supposed injuries over time. The final staged accident, scheduled for the following summer, was designed to result in a traumatic brain injury claim that could generate a settlement worth over $200,000. The plan was to have Emma hit by a car while crossing a street, Marcus said, showing me detailed notes from Amanda's files. Professional stunt coordination would ensure she wasn't actually hurt, but the scenario would be traumatic enough to justify claims of severe psychological and neurological damage. Marcus's investigation also revealed that Amanda had been documenting potential recruits among Emma's classmates and friends. Photographs of children from Emma's school, along with notes about their families' financial situations and physical characteristics, had been compiled in a database of future fraud opportunities. Your sister was building an entire network using the children from Emma's social circle, Marcus said. She was planning to expand the operation significantly over the next few years. The revelation that Amanda had been targeting innocent children from our community for deliberate exploitation filled me with rage that threatened to overwhelm my ability to think clearly. Emma's friends, children I'd coached in Little League and driven to birthday parties, were being evaluated as potential victims in Amanda's criminal enterprise. There's more, Marcus said, producing another file. Amanda isn't working alone. She's part of a larger network that operates across multiple states. The FBI has been investigating similar operations in California, Texas, and Florida. The scope of Amanda's criminal activities extended far beyond what I had imagined. She was connected to a sophisticated organization that specialized in insurance fraud, identity theft, and what Marcus described in law enforcement terms as child exploitation for financial gain. Emma wasn't just being recruited for insurance fraud, Marcus said. The final stage of Amanda's plan involved relocating Emma to California, where she would be placed with a wealthy couple who pays premium prices for children with specific physical characteristics. The words hit me like a physical assault. Amanda had been planning to traffic my daughter across state lines as part of a network that sold children to wealthy individuals who couldn't or wouldn't pursue legal adoption channels. Sarah doesn't know about this part of the plan, Marcus said. Amanda has been manipulating her just like she manipulates all the families she recruits. Your wife thinks she's helping Emma access better opportunities, but she's actually helping Amanda prepare to disappear with your daughter permanently. The investigation had revealed that Amanda's entire persona was carefully constructed to hide her criminal activities. The charity work, social events, and community involvement were all designed to create a reputation that would make her above suspicion when insurance claims and missing children reports began accumulating. "We need to move fast," Marcus said. "Amanda has connections with corrupt officials in local law enforcement and the judicial system. If she realizes we're investigating her, she has the resources and connections to disappear with Emma before we can stop her." As I absorbed the full scope of Amanda's criminal enterprise, I realized that my family crisis had accidentally uncovered a major federal crime operation. Emma wasn't just being targeted for custody manipulation. She was being prepared for deliberate victimization by criminals who viewed children as valuable commodities. The fight for my daughter had become a fight to save her life. Armed with Marcus's evidence, I made the decision to confront Amanda directly. It was a calculated risk that could either expose her completely or prompt her to accelerate her plans for Emma. Marcus had advised against direct confrontation, preferring to continue gathering evidence, but I couldn't wait while my daughter remained in danger. I arrived at Amanda's mansion unannounced on Thursday evening, knowing that Sarah was attending her weekly yoga class, and Emma was at after-school care. The housekeeper, Maria, whom I had befriended during previous family visits, let me into the house reluctantly. "Mr. Tyler, Miss Amanda, she no expecting you," Maria said nervously, clearly uncomfortable with my unexpected arrival. Amanda appeared in the marble foyer wearing an expensive silk dress, her makeup and hair perfect, despite being at home alone. The calculated presentation of wealth and success had once impressed me, but now it felt like a costume designed to hide her true nature. "Tyler, what a surprise," Amanda said, her voice carrying a tone of forced pleasantry. "Sarah didn't mention you were coming by. We need to talk about Emma," I said directly, making no effort to engage in small talk or social pleasantries. Amanda led me to her study, a room dominated by expensive furniture and law books that I now realized were probably props designed to intimidate people during exactly these kinds of conversations. "I know about the insurance fraud," I said without preamble, watching her face for any reaction. Amanda's expression didn't change, but I noticed her hands tighten almost imperceptibly on the arms of her leather chair. "I'm not sure what you're implying, Tyler, but I think the stress of your situation might be affecting your judgment. Marcus Rivera has been investigating your financial activities. We know about the staged accidents, the recruited families, and the medical baseline examinations you've been conducting on Emma." For a moment, Amanda's carefully maintained composure cracked. Her eyes narrowed, and her voice dropped to a more threatening tone. "You've made a serious mistake involving a private investigator in family matters, Tyler. Family matters, you're planning to use my daughter in insurance fraud schemes that could seriously injure her." Amanda stood and walked to her desk, retrieving a thick folder that she placed in front of me. "Before you make any more accusations, you should understand the position you're actually in." The folder contained photographs that made my blood run cold. Pictures of me taken outside Henderson's auto repair, at Emma's school, and even in our own driveway. Professional surveillance photographs that had been taken over several weeks without my knowledge. "You've been under observation, Tyler," Amanda said calmly. "These photographs document your erratic behavior, aggressive driving, and inappropriate interactions with other parents at Emma's school. The photos had been carefully selected and cropped to make normal activities appear suspicious. Pictures of me changing a tire in our driveway were captioned as 'Subject demonstrates aggressive behavior toward inanimate objects.' Photos of me talking to other fathers at Emma's soccer practice were described as 'Subject engages in heated confrontations with authority figures.' This is ridiculous," I said. "These are normal, everyday activities." "Not according to the professional psychological evaluation," Amanda replied, producing another document. Dr. Elizabeth Crenshaw, a respected child psychologist, has reviewed these materials and concluded that you demonstrate classic signs of domestic instability and potential violence. Dr. Crenshaw's report was 3 pages of clinical language that portrayed me as a man struggling with anger management, financial stress, and potential substance abuse issues. The evaluation was based entirely on the manipulated photographs and false information provided by Amanda. Dr. Crenshaw has never met me. I protested. Professional evaluations don't always require direct contact when there's sufficient documentary evidence, Amanda said smoothly. The report has been filed with Child Protective Services as a precautionary measure. The revelation that CPS had been contacted with false reports about my fitness as a parent sent panic through my system. Amanda had created an official record of my supposed unfitness that would be difficult to dispute in any custody proceedings. But that's not all. Amanda continued, clearly enjoying the psychological torture she was inflicting. You should also know that several of Emma's teachers have expressed concerns about her emotional well-being when she returns home from weekend visits with you. Amanda produced statements allegedly from Emma's teachers describing behavioral changes and emotional distress following my time with Emma. The documents suggested that Emma had been displaying anxiety, academic decline, and social withdrawal that coincided with her visits to our home. These teacher reports have also been forwarded to the appropriate authorities, Amanda said. Combined with Dr. Crenshaw's evaluation and the photographic evidence, they establish a clear pattern of concern about Emma's safety in your care. The scope of Amanda's preparation was breathtaking and terrifying. She had anticipated my resistance and had spent months building a comprehensive case to destroy my credibility as a parent. Every interaction I had with Emma, every moment of normal family life, had been twisted into evidence of my unfitness. Now, Amanda continued, let's discuss your allegations about insurance fraud. Amanda revealed that her connections in law enforcement extended much deeper than Marcus had realized. Photographs on her desk showed her at social events with judges, prosecutors, police chiefs, and other officials from the local justice system. Chief Morrison and I served together on the Children's Hospital Charity Board, Amanda said, pointing to a photo of herself with the city's police chief. District Attorney Patterson and I co-chaired the Domestic Violence Awareness Campaign last year. Judge Williams and his wife are regular guests at my fundraising events. The message was clear. Amanda had relationships with every official who would be involved in investigating her crimes or adjudicating my custody case. She had been building these connections for years, using her wealth and social status to create a network of protection around her illegal activities. Your private investigator friend has already been flagged as a potential troublemaker, Amanda said casually. Chief Morrison received a report that Marcus Rivera has been harassing prominent community members and making unfounded accusations about respected citizens. The revelation that Marcus was also being targeted demonstrated the reach of Amanda's influence. She had preemptively discredited the only person who could effectively investigate her crimes. But I'm not unreasonable, Amanda continued, adopting a tone of false magnanimity. I understand that you're concerned about Emma's welfare. That's admirable, even if it's misguided. Amanda's final revelation was the most devastating of all. She showed me video recordings of Emma at her mansion, laughing and playing in luxury surroundings that made our modest home look like poverty by comparison. The videos had been carefully edited to show only Emma's happiest moments, creating the impression that she was consistently more joyful away from me. Emma thrives in a stable, affluent environment, Amanda said. These videos will be powerful evidence in any custody proceeding about where she's truly happiest and healthiest. The psychological manipulation of using my own daughter's innocent joy against me was perhaps the cruelest aspect of Amanda's entire scheme. Emma's natural childhood happiness had been weaponized to prove that she was better off without her father. Here's what's going to happen. Amanda said, returning to her authoritative tone. You're going to sign the custody transfer documents that Sarah presented to you. Emma will continue her transition to living here permanently. You'll have supervised visitation rights that can be expanded over time if you demonstrate improved stability. And if I refuse, Amanda's smile was cold and predatory. Then Emma will be removed from your home by Child Protective Services based on the reports and evidence I've already filed. You'll face criminal charges for harassment and making false accusations against a prominent community member. Your friend Marcus will face similar charges for conducting unlawful surveillance and intimidation. The threat was comprehensive and terrifying. Amanda had created a scenario where any resistance from me would result in Emma being placed in foster care, while criminal charges destroyed my life and reputation. Of course, there is another option, Amanda said, producing one final document. A voluntary agreement where you acknowledge your current inability to provide adequate care for Emma and consent to my temporary guardianship while you seek professional help for your personal issues. The document was brilliantly constructed legal language that would make Amanda Emma's official guardian while making it appear that I had voluntarily recognized my own unfitness as a parent. Signing it would essentially end my parental rights while creating a legal record that I had admitted to being dangerous to my own daughter. You have 24 hours to decide, Amanda said. After that, the situation moves beyond my control and into the hands of law enforcement and Child Protective Services. As I left Amanda's mansion that evening, I realized that she had trapped me in a scenario where every possible action I could take would be used against me. Fight back and face criminal charges, comply and lose Emma forever, seek help from authorities, and encounter officials who were already biased in Amanda's favor. But Amanda had made one critical error in her elaborate scheme. She had underestimated the extent of Marcus's investigation and the federal authorities who were already closing in on her operation. Marcus was waiting in his car outside my house when I returned from the confrontation with Amanda. The grim expression on his face told me that the situation had escalated beyond what either of us had anticipated. We need to talk immediately, Marcus said. Get in the car. Your house might be under surveillance. As we drove through the quiet suburban streets where I had raised Emma, Marcus revealed information that completely transformed my understanding of the danger my family faced. I've been working undercover for the FBI for the past 8 months, Marcus said. The Bureau has been investigating a multi-state insurance fraud and child trafficking network. Your sister is a major player in the operation. The revelation that my childhood friend had been conducting a federal investigation while helping me personally created a surreal sense of disorientation. Everything I thought I knew about the situation had been incomplete. The FBI has been tracking Amanda's financial transaction surveillance activities and communications with other criminals across the country, Marcus explained. Your investigation accidentally provided crucial missing pieces to our federal case. Marcus revealed that the FBI had been monitoring Amanda's phone calls, emails, and bank accounts for months. They had documented her recruitment of families, coordination of staged accidents, and financial arrangements with corrupt medical professionals and insurance adjusters. We have recordings of Amanda planning specific accidents involving recruited children, Marcus said. Federal prosecutors have enough evidence to charge her with conspiracy fraud, child endangerment, and racketeering. The scope of Amanda's criminal network was larger than I had imagined. She was connected to similar operations in California, Texas, Florida, and Nevada. Children from dozens of families had been exploited in staged accidents designed to generate fraudulent insurance settlements. Emma was specifically selected because she fits the profile of children who generate the highest insurance payouts, Marcus explained. Blonde, articulate, photogenic, from a struggling family that could be easily manipulated. The FBI had also been investigating the corrupt law enforcement officials Amanda claimed were protecting her. Several judges, prosecutors, and police officers were facing federal charges for accepting bribes and providing confidential information to criminal organizations. Chief Morrison has already been arrested, Marcus said. District Attorney Patterson is under indictment. Judge Williams is cooperating with federal investigators in exchange for reduced charges. Amanda's network of protection had been systematically dismantled by federal investigators who operated outside the local jurisdiction she thought she controlled. Her carefully cultivated relationships with corrupt officials had become liabilities rather than assets. The teacher reports and psychological evaluation Amanda showed you are completely fabricated, Marcus continued. We've interviewed Emma's real teachers and school officials. They all describe you as a devoted father and express concern about Emma's recent behavioral changes since she started spending time at Amanda's house. The revelation that Emma's teachers had actually been reporting positive observations about my parenting while expressing concern about Amanda's influence validated my instincts about my daughter's well-being. Marcus showed me surveillance photographs taken by federal agents of Amanda's house over the past several weeks. The images showed children arriving and leaving at unusual hours, adults conducting meetings in the mansion's backyard, and vehicles with license plates registered to known criminals. Amanda has been operating a safe house for the trafficking network, Marcus explained. Children are brought there for medical evaluations, psychological conditioning, and transportation to other locations. The federal investigation had revealed that Amanda's mansion was a central hub for criminal activities involving dozens of children from across the region. Emma's planned relocation to the house would have placed her directly into the center of the trafficking operation. Sarah doesn't know about the trafficking aspect, Marcus said. She's been manipulated just like all the other parents Amanda recruits. The Bureau considers her a victim rather than a criminal conspirator. Marcus explained that Sarah would face no criminal charges but would be required to testify against Amanda about the recruitment tactics and manipulation strategies used to gain cooperation from target families. We've been recording Amanda's phone calls with Sarah for the past 6 weeks, Marcus said. The conversations clearly show that Sarah believed she was helping Emma access better educational opportunities. She had no knowledge of the insurance fraud or trafficking plans. The recorded conversations between Amanda and Sarah revealed the sophisticated psychological manipulation tactics Amanda used to convince loving parents to surrender their children to her control. Sarah had been a victim of the same predatory strategies used against dozens of other families. The FBI is prepared to move against Amanda and her network immediately, Marcus said. But we need your cooperation to ensure Emma's safety during the arrests. Marcus outlined the federal operation planned for the following day. Simultaneous raids would occur at Amanda's mansion, several other locations connected to the network, and the homes of corrupt officials who had been protecting the operation. Amanda will be arrested during a social event at her house tomorrow evening, Marcus explained. We've arranged for one of her regular parties to proceed normally, then conduct the arrests when all the key players are present. The timing would ensure that Amanda couldn't escape or destroy evidence, while federal agents secured the mansion and rescued any children who might be present during the operation. Your role is to keep Emma away from Amanda's house tomorrow, Marcus said. We'll provide federal protection for you and Emma during the arrests to ensure Amanda can't retaliate or attempt to flee with her. Marcus revealed that federal prosecutors had enough evidence to seek life sentences for Amanda and several other network leaders. The charges included conspiracy to commit fraud, child trafficking racketeering, and violation of federal laws regarding interstate transportation of minors for criminal purposes. Emma will be required to undergo medical and psychological evaluations to document any harm she may have suffered, Marcus explained. But the examinations will be conducted by legitimate professionals who specialize in helping children recover from exploitation. The federal case would also result in financial restitution for all the families who had been victimized by Amanda's network. Insurance companies that had paid fraudulent claims would recover their losses, while victim families would receive compensation for the trauma and manipulation they had endured. Your family will be relocated temporarily while the federal trials proceed, Marcus said. Amanda's network includes people who might attempt retaliation against families who cooperate with prosecutors. As we returned to my neighborhood, Marcus provided one final piece of information that completed my understanding of how close Emma had come to permanent danger. Amanda was planning to relocate Emma to California next week, Marcus said. Federal agents intercepted communications arranging for Emma's transportation to a location where she would have disappeared permanently into the trafficking network. The revelation that Emma had been just days away from being taken across state lines to people who would have erased her identity and severed all contact with her family filled me with gratitude for Marcus's investigation and the FBI's intervention. Tomorrow night when Amanda is arrested, your daughter will finally be safe, Marcus said. And you'll have played a crucial role in saving dozens of other children from the same fate. The following evening, I watched from a federal surveillance van as FBI agents surrounded Amanda's mansion during what appeared to be another of her elegant social gatherings. Through night vision equipment, I could see wealthy guests in evening wear chatting on the illuminated patio, completely unaware that they were about to witness the climax of an 8-month federal investigation. Emma sat beside me in the van wearing her favorite pajamas and holding the stuffed elephant she had owned since she was 2 years old. She didn't fully understand why we were spending the evening with Daddy's police friends, but she seemed excited about the adventure. "Are we going to see Aunt Amanda?" Emma asked innocently. "Not tonight, sweetheart," I replied, stroking her blonde curls. "Aunt Amanda has some grown-up problems she needs to fix." At exactly 9:15 p.m., federal agents moved simultaneously through multiple entrances of the mansion. The party guests' shocked screams could be heard even from our position 2 blocks away as dozens of law enforcement officers in tactical gear secured the property. Marcus, wearing his FBI windbreaker, provided commentary through our radio communication system. Target secured. Amanda Westfield is in custody. 12 associates arrested. Evidence collection beginning immediately. The raid was precisely coordinated and overwhelmingly successful. Amanda's network of criminals, corrupt officials, and fraudulent medical professionals had been decimated in a single evening. Years of planning and preparation by federal investigators had culminated in the complete destruction of an operation that had victimized dozens of families across multiple states. Local television news crews arrived within minutes of the arrests, broadcasting live coverage of the mansion, surrounded by federal vehicles and crime scene investigators. The reporter's voice carried excitement as she described the massive federal operation targeting an alleged insurance fraud and child trafficking network operating throughout the region. Over the following days, the full scope of Amanda's criminal enterprise became public through court documents and media coverage. Financial records revealed that the network had generated over $3 million through fraudulent insurance claims involving children from more than 40 families. Amanda faced federal charges including conspiracy to commit fraud, child trafficking, money laundering, and racketeering. The evidence against her was overwhelming: recorded phone conversations, planning staged accidents, financial transactions, paying criminal associates, and medical records, documenting her preparation to exploit Emma and other children. Sarah's reaction to learning the truth about Amanda's real plans was devastating and transformative. When federal agents showed her the evidence of the trafficking network and the plans for Emma's disappearance, she collapsed in our living room and sobbed for hours. "I almost gave our daughter to criminals," Sarah whispered through her tears. "I was so stupid, so selfish, so blind to what was really happening." The federal investigation had revealed that Amanda's psychological manipulation tactics were sophisticated and effective. Sarah had been one of dozens of parents who had been convinced to cooperate with plans that would have resulted in their children's exploitation and potential disappearance. Amanda told me I was saving Emma from a life of limited opportunities, Sarah explained during one of our reconciliation conversations. She made me believe that loving Emma meant letting her go to people who could provide better for her. Sarah entered counseling with Dr. Jennifer Martinez, a psychologist who specialized in helping victims of psychological manipulation recover from trauma and rebuild damaged relationships. The therapy sessions helped Sarah understand how Amanda had exploited her insecurities and parental anxieties to gain cooperation in the criminal scheme. Emma's adjustment to the truth about Amanda required careful handling by child psychologists who specialized in helping young victims of exploitation understand their experiences without developing lasting trauma. Dr. Martinez worked with Emma to explain that Aunt Amanda made some very bad choices and has to stay with police officers for a while. The federal trials that followed provided complete vindication for my family and justice for dozens of other victims. Amanda received a sentence of 25 years in federal prison without possibility of parole. 7 associates received sentences ranging from 8 to 15 years. 4 corrupt law enforcement officials received prison sentences for accepting bribes and obstructing justice. The media coverage of the trials portrayed me as a devoted father who had accidentally uncovered a major criminal network while fighting to protect his daughter. Local news stations interviewed me about the importance of trusting parental instincts and seeking help when family situations seem suspicious or dangerous. Henderson's Auto Repair experienced an unexpected surge in business as community members specifically requested my services after learning about my role in exposing Amanda's network. My reputation as someone who fought to protect children brought customers who wanted to support a business owned by people with strong moral character. The additional income allowed Sarah and me to begin planning improvements to our home and to start a substantial college fund for Emma. More importantly, it provided the financial security that removed the economic anxieties Amanda had exploited to manipulate Sarah's cooperation. Sarah and I renewed our marriage vows in a small ceremony attended by family and friends who had supported us throughout the ordeal. The experience of nearly losing our family had strengthened our appreciation for each other and clarified our priorities about what truly mattered in life. Emma thrived in the aftermath of Amanda's arrest. Free from the psychological pressure and manipulation she had experienced during visits to the mansion, she returned to being the joyful, confident child she had always been. Her teachers reported improved academic performance and social engagement once the source of her anxiety had been removed. The federal government's victim restitution program provided financial compensation that eliminated Sarah's secret debt and allowed us to establish an emergency fund for future financial security. The money couldn't repair the emotional damage Amanda had caused, but it removed the economic vulnerability that had made our family a target for exploitation. 6 months after Amanda's sentencing, I received a letter from the FBI thanking me for my cooperation in the investigation and informing me that my assistance had led to the rescue of 18 children from various stages of the trafficking network. Knowing that Emma's near victimization had ultimately saved other children provided a sense of purpose and meaning to the trauma we had endured. The experience taught me profound lessons about the importance of trusting your instincts as a parent, even when other people try to convince you that your concerns are unreasonable. Amanda's wealth and social status had made her seem trustworthy and respectable, but her true character was revealed through her actions rather than her appearance. I learned that financial struggles don't make someone a bad parent, and that love and dedication matter more than luxury and expensive possessions. Emma's happiness came from feeling secure and valued, not from having the most expensive clothes or living in the largest house. Most importantly, I learned that family loyalty must be based on character and behavior rather than blood relationships. Amanda's status as my sister didn't excuse her willingness to exploit and endanger my daughter for personal gain. True family members protect and support each other rather than manipulating and betraying each other. The ordeal also taught me about the importance of seeking help when facing overwhelming problems. Marcus's investigation and the FBI's intervention had saved Emma from a fate I couldn't have prevented alone. Sometimes protecting your family requires accepting assistance from people with resources and expertise you don't possess. Sarah and I now volunteer with organizations that help families recognize and resist manipulation tactics used by criminals who target children. Our experience provides credibility and insight that helps other parents understand warning signs and seek help when suspicious situations arise. Emma, now 8 years old, understands that her father fought very hard to keep her safe when bad people wanted to hurt her. The experience has strengthened our bond and given her confidence that her parents will always prioritize her welfare over social expectations or financial pressures. Looking back on the nightmare that nearly destroyed our family, I'm grateful for the lessons it taught us about what truly matters in life. We learned to value each other more deeply, to trust our instincts more completely, and to resist pressure from people who don't have our best interests at heart. The most profound realization was that our modest home, filled with love and laughter, was infinitely more valuable than Amanda's mansion, which had been corrupted by greed and criminal exploitation. True wealth isn't measured in dollars or possessions, but in the strength of relationships built on honesty, loyalty, and mutual respect. Today, our family is stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. Emma is thriving in school, excelling in activities she genuinely enjoys, rather than pursuits designed to impress other people. Sarah has recovered from Amanda's manipulation and has become an even more devoted mother and wife. Our marriage has been strengthened by surviving a crisis that could have destroyed us. The experience of nearly losing everything taught us to appreciate what we had always possessed: a family built on genuine love rather than superficial appearances. No amount of money or social status could have provided the security and happiness we found in simply being together, supporting each other, and prioritizing our daughter's genuine welfare over external expectations. Amanda's criminal network has been completely dismantled. Her victims have received justice and compensation, and dozens of children have been saved from exploitation. My family's crisis accidentally led to a victory that protected countless other families from experiencing similar trauma. The silence that had followed Sarah's devastating words at Amanda's party has been replaced by laughter, conversation, and the joyful sounds of a family that has learned to value what truly matters. Emma's hands no longer shake with confusion and hurt, but reach confidently for parents who have proven they will sacrifice everything to keep her safe. Have you ever faced a situation where someone you trusted tried to manipulate you into making decisions that would harm your family? How did you recognize the warning signs, and what steps did you take to protect the people you love most? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If this story helped you understand the importance of trusting your parental instincts and seeking help when facing overwhelming challenges, please give it a like and share it with other parents who might benefit from hearing about our experience. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about ordinary people who found the courage to fight for what matters most, even when the odds seemed impossible to overcome. Thank you for listening to our family story. I hope it reminds you that love, determination, and the willingness to seek help when needed can overcome even the most sophisticated schemes designed to tear families apart. Stay strong, trust your instincts, and never stop fighting for the people who matter most to you.